He left me 9 weeks pregnant because I could no longer help his career, and 5 years later he walked into my restaurant's opening night asking me for a job. I am Renata. I am 31, and I own a small restaurant that took me 5 years to build from absolutely nothing. When I got pregnant, I was 25 and working 2 jobs while my boyfriend Theo finished his final year of business school. He told me a baby would slow down everything he had worked for. He told me I had to choose between supporting his future and keeping the baby. I told him I had already chosen. He packed a bag that same week and left a note instead of a conversation. I raised our daughter alone. I worked mornings at a diner and nights doing prep work in a restaurant kitchen, learning everything I could while she slept in a carrier in the back office. Every recipe I mastered exhausted, with a baby monitor clipped to my apron and formula money counted out in coins. It took 5 years, 3 jobs, 1 small business loan that almost fell through twice, and more nights than I can count falling asleep at the kitchen table with invoices in my hands. But I opened my own restaurant, 22 seats, my name on the sign out front, my daughter's crayon drawing framed by the door because she insisted. Opening night, the dining room was full. Local press had shown up. A regional food blog had already written about the menu before we even opened the doors, calling it the best debut of the year. Theo walked in during the second seating. He did not recognize the hostess because he did not recognize anything about my life anymore. He asked for a table, then recognized me across the room, and smiled like 5 years had simply not happened at all. He told me the restaurant looked incredible. He told me he had been following my success online for months, quietly, from a distance. Then he told me his current job had fallen through, and he asked if I needed a manager. Someone who understood the business side, someone like him. I did not raise my voice. I did not bring up the note he left on the counter, or the 5 years he was absent, or the birthday parties he missed, or the pregnancy he once called an obstacle standing in the way of his future. I simply told him the position was filled, because every position in that restaurant already belonged to someone who had shown up for it, every single day, for years. Then I asked the host to seat him, like any other customer, at a quiet table near the back. He sat there for the rest of the meal, watching me run a business he had once told me, in plain words, that I would never be capable of running while raising a child alone. He did not ask for anything else that night. He paid his bill in full and left quietly before dessert service began. I heard through a mutual friend a few weeks later that he had been telling people he always knew I would succeed, and that he was proud of how far I had come. As if pride from a distance means anything, after 5 years of complete absence up close. My daughter came into the kitchen after closing that night, the way she does every single night, and asked how service went. I told her it went well. I did not mention the man who once told me she would ruin my life, sitting quietly at table 12, eating a meal I built entirely without him. People ask if seeing him like that felt like justice, watching him ask the woman he abandoned for a job. Honestly, it felt quieter than that. I did not feel triumphant. I felt the same way I feel every single night closing up alone. Tired, proud, and completely unbothered by whether a man like that was ever proud of me at all. He left because he thought a child would end everything he was building for himself. 5 years later, he walked into everything I built without him and calmly asked to be let back in. I let him eat his meal in peace. I did not let him back into my life.